Welcome to Keith Hershaft's Midnight Cartoon Program.
Welcome to episode 4. Tonight I was planning on covering detail, the detail stage. But the more I thought about it, I realized there was one more step in between those that I wanted to cover that relates more closely to the gesture and the structure stages. And that is giving your characters a sense of purpose through acting. One of the best ways that I've heard it put is draw actions, not objects. So as you're thinking, as you're drawing out your pose and figuring out your pose, you also want to put a lot of thought into what the character is doing and why they're doing it. And that also leads to another just sort of thought I had that I wanted to include in this video. And it's a very strange time that we're going through right now. A lot of change is taking place. So why bother making cartoons? Why take the time to make cartoons when the world appears to be on fire? And to me, the reason to continue doing it is because it's a great tool to tell a story. And one of the best ways to change someone's opinion or to express an idea is to put it into a narrative and create an emotional connection between the idea and your audience. So while some people are out in the streets protesting or rioting or however they feel most effective in changing things, there have always been political cartoonists and cartoonists who have certain ideas for where they think we need to go, and they put it into their art. My appreciation for it comes heavily from the punk tradition, and their do-it-yourself mentality, I think, is one of the strongest parts of the punk movement. And now with the technology that's available to us, we're able to democratize art. It really doesn't take a whole lot aside from time and energy to make a comic and tell a story. And that's what I'm trying to do with these videos. Is I want to take the information that I've learned, all my time spent, college, art school, just experimenting with things, and I want to put that into videos so that I can help people figure out how to do this for themselves, how to make their own comics. Because I don't think I could tell everyone's story as well as they could. I want to see your comics. I want to see you make cartoons. I want to see your story. And I want the art to be beautiful. I want the art to be moving. And the world that you build for your characters is generally informed by the world that you live in. So take that and use that to give purpose to your characters. The things that you're dealing with, the things that you're struggling with, the ideas that drive you absolutely insane. Take those ideas and put them into your work and think about what you're doing and think about the message that you're sending to your reader, and always think about whether it's worth sending. I think my cue card guy had a card that he wanted to show off. Let's draw some cartoons.
Okay, so on this first drawing, I'm going to be focusing on a scene with two characters in it. I'm keeping them very simple for this one. And I start by marking out the area that the scene's going to take up, just so I can try to plan as best as I can for the poses to read clearly as a clean silhouette. So, I outstretch the arm away from the body so you can see that she's reaching out to the weird little blob creature here. And as I go through, I just try to think of, keeping the characters balanced and feeling natural in the pose. I also, think about the way they're making eye contact, but one of the other things that's very important is having characters when they interact physically and touch. It's a powerful thing to use in storytelling. But moving from that a bit, thinking about keeping a pose natural, you see a lot of times, like the 90s superhero stuff, they would always have, like, everything was done with, like, a fist. But, when you hold an object like a pencil, there's certain things that require very delicate action. Find the right pose for the story you're telling. You can see here I did screw up several times. So that's why there's a paper overlaid there, but it's also an important thing to remember. In these videos I can just cut it out, but if you screw up, you can always just start over and just try it again. Certain poses, they take a lot of planning, they take some practice, and they take a lot of tries to get it right, but the payoff is worth it. On a lot of these ones I base the action around the object, so I did put the line for the pencil in pretty early on, and then gave myself a point to work off of. Act it out if you have to. Look at your own hand as you're drawing, figure it out. It's good practice exercise. But also think about, the faces and expressions and how they relate into acting from different angles, and try to keep the expressions, loose and clear when you're in the sketching stages. They'll help kind of lay the groundwork for more complex details later. Okay, moving on to the demo drawing for this week. I thought it'd be cool just, I was mentioning punks earlier, so I thought I would just do a sketch of a friendly neighborhood punk. So you can see in the gesture stage, I'm doing what I mentioned before. You keep it real loose, and just kind of think like how you would stand, depending on what you're trying to suggest. So this guy, it's a very subtle stance. It's not like it's not an action comic or anything, or it's the moment before something happens. Giving this guy like a gas mask here, and drawing in like rough objects. That line right there is indicating that it's eventually going to be a bat, like a baseball bat. But start light and continue working to dark, and keep the pose loose and as natural as you can. And this is the stage to rework it and kind of tweak things. So I have him kind of like he's in the moment like before anything happens, and his shoulders are kind of lowered, kind of suggesting like a more relaxed demeanor. He's used to this kind of thing. He's ready for it. But Yeah, and then I try to put in details also, like when I drew the lapels for his jacket, his trench coat. I tried to make them a little uneven, to kind of suggest like who this guy is. He's he just sort of threw the thing on, and went out. He's not a businessman. He's and I try to have the clothing and the details play into that. If you have to, kind of position your hand, see how you would hold something, and base your drawing off of that. Try to get that natural pose. I should also mention that I'm not suggesting anyone dress up like this and go do anything atrocious with a bat. But the world's violent sometimes, and I don't know. I think it's one of the things art can cover. You kind of you take things that you see, or take take ideas, and you can put them onto the page. As I keep going, I just fill in more details, clarify on some lines that I had made, and think about the roundness of the forms, and just slowly build up over top of the framework that you built in the early stages. And as I mentioned in the intro, I will be going into the detail stages of a drawing next week. So if you have any questions that relate to that, feel free to put them in the comments of this video, and I can get to those. Try and answer any questions you might have. I like making sure I add in those small details. Jamie Hewlett, in his Tank Girl comics, he would always put like little bits of writing on everything, and I always thought that was a nice detail. So I took one from Woody Guthrie's guitar and changed it a little bit for this one. Add a little square around it just to kind of reinforce some shapes and make a little abstract design there. Sign it, and that's it for this week.